Hi, my name is Barry Sterling Mitchell. I produce the Sterling Net Point Power Rankings and the Bias Plus reports. Today is August 21st, Thursday of 2025, and this is Ben and Barry on football.
What's going on, everybody? This is Ben Dickerson. I am your co-host. We've been doing the brain trust for every team in the league. We are now down to the top 10 teams that finished top 10 in our 2024 average net point rankings. So here we go.
Man, I'm telling you. But first, we have football tonight, Benny.
Yes,
We have two games tonight.
yes. One I'm interested in and one I'm not.
And which one would you be interested in?
I would be interested in the one where my New York Football Giants are playing.
That one.
Yes, I'm kind of thinking to myself, since Russell Wilson, who has been deemed the starter, has already started the first two preseason games, that perhaps Jackson Dart may start this game and possibly play at least the entire first half. But we'll see.
Yeah, the whole Jackson Dart thing is just intriguing because you got Russell Wilson and you have Jameis Winston, two guys whose experience level and have shown a level of expertise in their career that's pretty high.
Right.
Unlike say the Browns, who have a quarterback who's like in his 29th year in the league that's going to be starting. Another guy who kind of used to start, but mainly was a backup, and they thought maybe he was going to come in, but now he's hurt and they don't know what's up with him, and two rookies. And if I was to compare your rookie, Dart, to their rookies, I don't know. Dart might have an edge,
Might.
might have an edge. I think, yeah, he's going to surprise. Your Giants are going to surprise some people, I believe, this year. First of all, Russ came out and threw an 80-yard damn bomb. We were talking about that last week. And I said,
Moonball.
huh?
The moonball.
If you like balls just falling into your arm like that, as if you like that, you're in the right place. You should get a lot of that. Now, the question is, can he get the balls out on time when we need to, especially on third down? And the other thing is, as I said, you guys have the most entertaining quarterback rooms in the NFL, as far as I'm concerned, because you have Jameis. And as long as you got
Cool.
Jameis,
Oh yeah, he's a QB room on his own.
you know what I'm saying. But you're playing the Patriots tonight, Benny.
Good game.
Now, what's the young man's name? Is it Travion Henderson or something like that?
Uh, Running back. Yes, I expect him to get a good amount of time because I think Ramondre Stevenson is a little banged up, and they might want to save him for the regular season. I'm just guessing.
Did you see him return the kickoff?
Yes, yes,
The boy's got another gear. He's got a gear that most of the people out there across the NFL don't have.
right.
You
But
know,
if he wins the job or even wins enough time to be a 1-2 punch with Ramondre Stevenson, then they're going to have to get somebody else to return kicks.
I
At least kickoffs. Punts, punts another thing.
why do you say punts are another thing? You think that's less
Well,
dangerous?
punt coverage is less dangerous. Yeah, that's the rule they didn't change. They changed the most dangerous one, which is kickoffs. So
Well,
not
once you get
only
you get more of an opportunity to protect yourself. You can always just fair catch it and that type of stuff. You
well,
can
even if
always
you yeah,
pick
but
your
you got
poison.
but the deal is on kickoffs, the teams were 10 yards apart. And as soon as the ball was kicked, everybody could start moving.
Right,
They deemed that to be dangerous.
right.
On punts, there's a line of scrimmage,
Okay,
and everybody's lined up like a regular play,
right.
except the guy that would be in the safety position on defense is way back to return the kick. So it's a little easier to get everybody spread. There's more running lanes, escapability, chances of a hard hit without a penalty are usually few.
Okay. I can understand because like you said, first of all, on the kickoff, everybody's going after him. On a punt, you got most of your line is blocking first before they can even do anything.
Right. It's easier for them to pick up their blocks, which means it's going to take longer for the majority of players to get downfield instead of having a 10-yard free run like they do on a kickoff or the old kickoff. So the only guys he really has to be concerned with right away is maybe one dude that breaks free down the middle and the two gunners on the ends who got guys running with them.
Now, the other game tonight, Steelers at Panthers. Both teams have, I believe, serious question marks at quarterback.
That's what you believe.
That's what I believe. Um, but we're not going to see the starters, I don't believe, tonight anyway. I don't see them putting Bryce out there tonight. Aaron, I pretty much is already, they're not going to put him out there. I think they pretty much said that.
I doubt if he's going to play. I didn't hear whether they were made it definitive, but yeah, he ain't playing no preseason games. I think he made a deal like, you want me to come to training camp, right? Yeah, we do. Well, I ain't playing no preseason games. Now, if you want me to play a preseason game, then I'll come when training camp's halfway over. Take your pick. But he has that kind of cachet. I'll give it to him.
Hey, that's right. He's AR, man. He can do that. He can do that. I mean, he did a lot less with the Jets than just that. That's for sure. Excuse me. He did a lot more with the Jets than that.
Yeah.
I'm sure. Yeah. Let me say it like that. That'd be more correct. So, okay, we have football tonight, Benny. Let's get ready to start with 2025 NFL Brain Trust. Again, let's go over what we're going to be covering. Number one, for each team in the NFL, we have talked about these positions, and we only have 10 that we're about to cover. Those are the top 10 in our rankings. But we're covering general managers, head coach, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, special teams coordinator, and quarterback. That is what we are calculating in as the brain trust for the team. At one point, I was going to put the owner in there, but then I looked at it, I'm talking about game day, who you got on the field. That goes back to the general manager and what you do with them on the field. That's your coaches, and then what you actually can do on the field. And found out some great stuff, Benny. So I'm gonna have some fun with this. Let's start with the number 10 team, the Washington Commanders. Adam Peters, general manager. Adam Peters, 2024 average net points for those Commanders was plus 4.8. And again, net points can be negative or positive. So we are in the positive end of it now and moving upward. Adam Peters, former 49 exec, my beloved 49ers, known for draft success and roster construction. So he's definitely put together an interesting roster this season. Head coach, Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn is a defensive leader with Super Bowl pedigree, emphasizes culture and toughness. All right, Dan Quinn. Offensive coordinator, Cliff Kingsbury. Air raid roots, emphasizes tempo and vertical spacing. Air raid. You think about Jaden Daniels and the air raid. And then, that's another way of thinking about him and what he has to do at the line of scrimmage. I don't think they run that much air raid, but you'll tell me a little later. Joe Witt Jr., defensive coordinator, longtime assistant, specializes in DB development and zone disguises. Larry Izzo, special teams coordinator, one of 22 people in NFL history to win a Super Bowl as both a player and a coach. And Jaden Daniels, 2024 Offensive Rookie of the Year, dynamic dual threat with elite upside, who could be playing in the air raid as far as we're concerned. We didn't know it. We didn't know that he was looking for the green grass. Maybe that's why they were able to execute that deep bomb that won that game in overtime. That and the fact that the one guy that was supposed to be back there was over at the sideline hollering at the crowd. But what you got on him?
Uh, Starting with Jaden Daniels, the quarterback. Obviously, he had a great season last season. Including him into their offense really propelled them to a point where I doubt anybody was expecting them to go early on in the 2024 season, making it all the way to the conference championship. That was kind of crazy. Or darn near, yeah, conference. Anyway, excuse me. The only thing that we can hope against, and I don't want to put the kibosh on him, but I don't think anybody saw CJ Stroud's sophomore jinx coming last year. Now, it's true that the Texans had some other issues that would affect him, but he did not really play that well last year. So, as long as that doesn't happen to Jaden Daniels, I think all the success that everybody's forecasting for him will probably come true. Larry Izzo, special teams coach, did win as a player and as a coach. I believe he was on the Miami Dolphins team that won. Defensive coordinator, I know that guy, Joe Witt. I know he's been with some other teams too. He's a good coordinator, and he's been with Dan Quinn, I think, at a couple of other stops. So Dan Quinn being a defensive coach or defensive minded coach, and an ex DC in his past, they're kind of joined at the hip. And offensively, Kingsbury, he's not running the old air raid that he ran in college, or the old air raid that he came in and tried to run with Kyler Murray. I think he's learned his lesson as far as what the difference is between offenses in the NFL and offenses in D1. So it's a modified air raid, and I like it a lot better than he had when he was with the Cardinals.
Really?
Kyler's probably looking at the Commanders going, "Dad, we could have did that," But these coaches, it takes some time. Look at Chip Kelly. He's back.
Yeah,
He had to figure it
learn his
out.
lessons.
He had to figure it out.
Man, let me tell you, I took a quick look to see if there was anything else I could say about some of these people. And just real quick, Kingsbury. Now, you followed college a lot more than me, but apparently when he was with the Houston Cougars, he led the NCAA in nearly all offensive statistics,
Mm-hmm.
averaging 50 points and nearly 600 yards per game.
But
That
the
is
conference,
crazy.
I think that was the old Southwest Conference or the old Big 12. And nobody recruited defensive players.
Say nobody did what?
There was no defense being played. They scored 50 points a game. They were winning 50 to 30, 50 to 45, 50 to 42, 50 to 38.
Amazing, amazing. And then my man Jay Daniels, when I looked at this, did you know he was a hurdler in high school?
I heard he ran track. I didn't know he ran hurdles. That's cool.
They said he was a hurdler. He ran 100 meters, the 200 meters, the 400, and the full by 100.
I can believe that.
Dude was doing some running back in the day.
He's fast.
Oh,
He ain't no joke. He ain't just football fast.
he fast,
He
fast.
fast, fast.
Man, I was like, holy mackerel. Okay. Well, that was fun. That was fun. Let's go on. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm not sure if his last name is spelled Licht or Light.
I
Jason
think it's light,
Light.
when you
Okay.
turn on a light.
Average net point plus of plus 5.1. And again, average net points, that's the difference between a points for and a points against with turnover, average turnover differential calculated in there. That's what the plus means. So plus 5.1 for the general manager, Super Bowl winning architect, transitioned smoothly from Brady to Mayfield. I think that was funny. Just to let everybody know, I do my research, but some of this is written by AI. So, I love it. It's hilarious. Transition smoothly. Put your hand up if it was a smooth transition, Benny. Just okay. All right. Benny thinks it was smooth. Todd Bowles, head coach, defensive tactician, emphasizes discipline and situational football. My man Todd Bowles. Offensive coordinator Josh Grizzard, young innovator, focuses on spacing and play action efficiency. Play action efficiency. That's interesting. Because if you think about play action versus just drop back, and which is a more efficient, and I guess they're looking at completion percentage, whether it changes from play action. So that's an interesting concept. Got to the defensive coordinator, and Todd Bowles shows up again. But he has a defensive collective, which includes coaches Larry Foote, George Edwards, and Mike Caldwell. So
excuse me, they're not playing no games like the other teams that name a DC and then the head coach calls the plays. I'm the boss around here when it comes to defense. These guys help me, but I'm making the calls. Anything go wrong on the defense, it's my responsibility. I like that, Todd.
Hey, there you go. Maybe that's his brain trust for defense, his little defensive.
That's nice staff too.
Not bad staff, not bad staff. And special teams. Oh, again, Todd Bowles, co-coordinator, blends Bowles' aggressive schemes with defensive back versatility. Okay, I'll go with that. And Thomas McGahee, special teams coordinator, emphasizes coverage lanes and return game fundamentals. He is an experienced coach. And then we have, nonetheless, Baker Mayfield, Sergeant veteran, his career best numbers in 2024 with renewed confidence. He did have some good numbers in 2024, Benny.
Yes, he did.
He did have some good numbers. So yeah, that's what I found there. Now, I'll just say, you go ahead. I got a couple things that I picked up on some of these guys too, but you go ahead.
Okay, so you gotta love Todd Bowles as a head coach and a defensive mind. He proved that the cover two or the Tampa two or whatever you want to call it is not was not a shot in the dark or a one hit wonder. He's lived off of this defense and been successful with it his entire coaching career, if you ask me. I always loved Baker Mayfield, loved him in college. When he first came into the NFL, he was the Browns, and people said he stunk and he's this, he's that. And I kept saying, no, it's not him. It's the team, it's the coaching. And then when he was able to get away from him, I don't know if people remember or even considered what he did in his short time with the Rams working under McVay. But now he's really cutting it loose with Tampa Bay. He's had two really good offensive coordinators who are both now head coaches. So we got to see what Mr. Grizzard can do here as the third guy. Now, I think Mr. Grizzard, I could be wrong. Wasn't he the passing game coordinator or something last year? He was something. He worked under Liam Cohen.
Okay.
And so he's probably going to bring most of that offense that they've been running along with him, because Cohen is now installing that same offense in Jacksonville. And I expect them to do a lot better this year too. But anyway, it remains to be seen how well him and Baker get along. But as long as he doesn't change a whole lot from the way they've been running stuff, I think they'll continue to have success.
Okay. Well, I like the guy at the top. Okay. 5 Super Bowls that he's appeared in, one with the Patriots and one with the Bucks. But he was smart, man. He followed Tom Brady. Where
that helps.
Where you go, I go.
Wait a minute. You talking about the GM?
Yeah.
He brought Brady there.
Well, then there you go, for sure. And he brought Gronk, which...
Yeah, Brady brought Gronk.
Brady said, bring Gronk, and he said, okay. No problem. But your boy Baker happened to pull up some of his stats from last year. Baker was 407 out of 570 for a 71.4% completion ratio, 4,500 yards, averaging 7.9 in any event. He had a great year. And that was the main thing that we wanted to say about him. Now is the Denver Broncos plus 6.2. George Patton, Paton, general manager, average net points plus or plus 6.2. Veteran exec known for draft value and conservative roster move. Sean Payton, head coach, Super Bowl winning coach, offensive tactician with aggressive mindsets. Joe Lombardi, offensive coordinator, OC, longtime Payton collaborator, emphasizes timing and vertical spacing. Vance Joseph, DC, defensive coordinator, former Broncos head coach, led the NFL top-ranked defense in 2024. Again, the NFL ranks differently than we do. They generally go by yardage. And Dan Rizzi, special teams coordinator, special teams lifer known for block kicks and return game creativity. And Bo Nix, 2024 first rounder, accurate, experienced, and poised. Poised is the word, Benny. Poised to start week 1. So there you got your Denver Broncos. And it sounds like Bo Nix is a part of a whole nother loop category, or a young group, I should say, of young quarterbacks. Because we were just talking about Jackson Dart, for example, coming in. It was just the guy with the Vikings, the young guy with the Vikings, just getting a good start.
J.J. McCarthy.
J.J. McCarthy with the Vikings. Up in the Patriots quarterback that they had.
Drake May.
Drake May. I'm seeing more.
And what do these guys all have in common? They played a lot in college.
Is that the main thing? Okay.
They played at least 3 years, if not 4, in college.
3 to 4 years.
And that subject is a big deal now because everybody's all dismayed that Anthony Richardson isn't doing that well. It's not doing well for a couple of reasons. Number one, he only really started 1 season, and he gets hurt a lot too. But that can happen. So these, as long a list as you can make of some of these first, second year and rookie quarterbacks that are out right now, as opposed to some of these guys that have been in the league for a little while, but never quite made it. Trey Lance, for instance, 1 great year in college does not an NFL starter make. It just those guys are few and far in between that can make that transition. And that's starting to prove itself to be very true.
And again, we've talked about that. That was a point that you made a long time ago, and it was a learning point for me, to understand how much. And so, I'm seeing this group now, that seems to be emerging. And if they had that all in common, they're going to be tough to deal with. With the Browns, Gabriel, is it?
Dillon Gabriel.
How much time did he have? Did he play a lot?
He had lots of time.
Yeah.
He just ain't that good. He just ain't that good. I'm not saying he won't be an NFL quarterback one day. I'm just saying, he had a chance to do and some people said that game, the last game they played, some people said he threw the ball well for the most part. But
I think that because some people were kind of trying to put him as having played as well as Shador.
That's the hypocrisy of this whole thing.
You did hear that, though, right? You did hear that.
Yes.
Okay.
It's not just the Cleveland Browns. It's the media too. They're all feeding into this game. All it does is make me hope and wish and pray to football guards for Shador to end up as a starting quarterback in the very near future on some NFL team. I don't care who it is. If it's Cleveland, great. If it's not Cleveland, if they trade him, if they do, I don't know what their plan was, but they are fighting to not say, dang, we almost messed this up. Good thing we grabbed him. He looked way better than Dylan Gabriel. I'm not saying Dylan Gabriel was horrible. I'm not saying he didn't throw some good passes. But the things that they judge Shador on, he handled them all. Pocket presence, command of the huddle, command of the system. I forget what they call it. The play comes in, you hear it, then you have to give it to the huddle, then you get out of the huddle.
Management,
That's
yeah.
yeah, all of that. He did all that.
Now I did hear there's one guy who they keep bringing him on as a guest, especially Colin Coward, and he talks about Shador's feet, and there's something about his feet that he don't like, or that his
Okay.
somewhere in that pocket he's doing a little bits that he doesn't like. But other than that, he couldn't really say anything. You know, I thought, I thought he played well. I thought he showed that he can handle the NFL physicality because he
Yes.
ran away from guys
Yes.
when
He knows when to slide.
he knew when to slide.
He knows when to throw the ball away.
I seen him, actually in physical contact, handled it pretty well. So I didn't, it seems like he can handle the physicality of the NFL. Not saying Dylan Gabriel can't, but Shador definitely could. So, okay. Next,
When you talk about command of the offense, Dylan Gabriel drops back to pass. He has two receivers running within 3 yards of each other, and he still throws the ball over.
all right. Next up, Benny, on the NFL 2025 Brain Trust, the Los Angeles Chargers. Or as I used to say last year, the Chargers. Joe Hortiz, general manager, average net points of plus 6.9. Former Ravens exec emphasizes trench play and draft value. All right, I like that. M. Harbaugh, head coach, culture builder with smash mouth philosophy, returned to the NFL in 2024. And this probably would just be a pain in your butt for me to say, Benny, but probably the best thing that's happened to Trey Lance in his career. Offensive coordinator Greg Roman, power run specialist, previously paired with Harbaugh in San Fran and Baltimore. I like a power run game, Benny. I like a power run game. Jesse Minter, defensive coordinator. Doesn't that name sound familiar? Former Michigan DC, led the top NCAA defense before he jumped to the NFL. Jesse Minter. Ryan Ficken, special teams coordinator, known for aggressive punt blocks and return schemes. And quarterback Justin Herbert, cannon arm star with elite processing, seeking playoff breakthrough. And to hear Harbaugh talk about Herbert, but you know what? It's almost like I was reading, and we'll talk a little more about him later. Josh, when Josh Allen was coming out, and the measurables, just
Yeah.
blowing people away. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And you and I remember talking about him when he got his chance to start after the former quarterback. What did they gave him medical? He had a medical issue and they messed him up so bad he couldn't go back out and play. Remember that?
Oh, yeah. Well, he was a placeholder and Jacoby Brissett.
Right. Okay. Okay. But it was something that happened and he couldn't go out and play anymore. It's like,
They tried to give him a painkiller and punctured his lung.
there you go. That'll do it. That hey, look, you know, it's like
It's crazy.
that would be the that would be one of the storylines and one of those whodunits.
Mm.
Did they really mean? did they do that on purpose?
It's crazy.
But yeah, Herbert is pretty good. So you got anything else on them?
So here's the thing. Since Herbert has been in the league, every year when people start talking about who are the top 5, top 10, top 7, top quarterbacks in the league, his name seemed to always come up. But it was mostly because of those measurables that you were talking about earlier, which he has. He's got all that stuff. But now the talk about Herbert is, when's he going to turn the corner and win a playoff game? When's he going to turn the corner and take his team? I'm going to use the word deep into the playoffs, but how about let's get to the second round? You know, for a guy who's got all these great measurables, and obviously it's not all his fault. We know that. But, you know, when we talk about quarterbacks, we give them way too much praise when they do well, and we fault them too much when things don't go well. But people are starting to say, okay, we can't keep talking about this dude, and he only gets so far. He's been in the league too long now. It's time to turn the corner. So that remains to be seen if Jim Harbaugh can help him do that. I think they're kind of on their way. It doesn't help that they're in the AFC West, which is a tough division. But, you know, coaching-wise, they should be able to hold their own. Now, if that GM can make another move or two, that might put them over the top. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
Well, took a look. Let's see here. There's a couple things that I wanted to mention. And I think sometimes I see stuff, you know, I like it, especially when the general managers actually played ball. Um, and I like it when they played elsewhere. And George Patton, as a general manager, he played at UCLA, right? But then he played in the Austrian Football League and the Italian Football League.
Oh, God.
Now, this is the thing, though, Benny. The league is going international. So guys
That's
like
true.
this that have international experience, you know, I think somehow they might have something extra to do with this whole thing.
It's possible.
You know?
I don't look at that GM being the next player thing as such a big deal. The best GMs come up through the scouting departments.
Okay. All right. Well, I like it. So that's one of the things. Now, Sean Payton was a quarterback at Eastern Illinois. His teams were known as Eastern Airlines due to their prolific passing attack that frequently topped 300 yards and had 500 in one game, still a record. And he became just the eighth coach in NFL history to defeat all 32 teams in the league.
Now that's a big deal.
You like that one, eh?
That's a big deal. That's something you can brag about because can too many people do that. I
Oh
think
my
Brady.
God.
I think Brady beat every team in the league too.
Okay. All right.
And
Well,
somebody, I believe somebody did it recently. I can't remember who. That's a big deal. That shows a lot. Longevity, first of all, right? To be able to go through so many seasons and so many schedule changes that you eventually play everybody and you got at least one win against 31 different teams. That's a big deal.
right, right, right. Now, the interesting thing, oh, Lombardi, okay? We
Yes.
all know that name, right? Grandson of Hall of Fame coach Vince Lombardi, who died the year before he was born. He's the son of Vince Lombardi Jr. So this is third generation in the NFL. You always talk about the what is it? The
Line.
bloodlines and stuff like that. Um, but what I did find out also, he was hired by the Chargers under Brandon Staley, right? And we were always talking about Brandon Staley, how he would be messing up. He was fired on January 17, 2023, following the NFL wildcard loss to the Jacksonville Jaguars, where the Chargers lost despite a 27-point lead at one point in
Yes.
the second
Yes.
quarter.
Yes.
Strongly criticized for that. You say yes, yes. Wow, Benny. Now, could you blame Herbert for that?
I mean, I don't care how bad your defense is messing up. Eventually, you got to put one or two more points on the board, or scores rather on the board. If you can find the end zone that well in the first half, and in the second half, not only does the team mount a comeback offensively, but they figured you out at halftime to the point where all that success you had in the first half is out the window now. You can't find the end zone no more. You score 1 or 2 touchdowns, that lead holds up.
Well, speaking of leads not holding up, Lance Joseph is the defensive coordinator, right?
Yes.
First of all, you got to just recognize his connection to the Colorado Buffalo football team, where he was a quarterback and a running back. He was criticized for giving up 70 points to the Dolphins recently, which apparently Peyton they wanted to fire him, but Peyton said no. Said he wasn't going to do it.
People wanted to fire him after that game.
Oh yeah. He came under some heat. He came.
Guess what? He got players now.
He sure does.
He got ballers now. So I'm predicting. Well, I shouldn't say this. Anybody I'm playing fantasy football against might know this, but
we got predictions.
Broncos defense might be the best defense this year. Heard it here first.
Best defense.
Best.
Okay, we'll be looking. Because you know how I look at best defense.
I know.
Points against. It's all about the points, baby. It's all about the points. All right, who's up next, Benny? All right, Benny, let's move on to the next team in the NFL Brain Trust list. We are talking about the Minnesota Vikings. Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah, general manager, and we now are in a solid number of +7 on the average net points. Now, this young man is an analytics-driven strategist who blends data with scouting to reshape roster post-Cousins. It's like an era now. Cousins goes to a place, it becomes the Cousins era,
Seems like that.
I told you at one point he was going to be the highest paid backup in the NFL. Didn't I tell you that a little bit before?
Well, I'm not going to consider him a true backup till the season starts.
Okay.
if he's still on the team week 1 and he suits up and Penix starts, then I will say Kirk Cousins was a backup.
Okay, there you go. All right, I got you. Moving on, Kevin O'Connell is the head coach. Former quarterback, emphasizes timing-based passing and player empowerment. Okay. Offensive coordinator Wes Phillips, son of Wade Phillips, known for route layering and tight end usage. Speaking of, Benny, I believe they got a special coming on about tight end university.
Really?
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
I know. I got to check that out. They've made that into an event. Now, it's not just a camp where the guys actually, it's an event now.
Yeah.
Brian Flores, defensive coordinator. Blitz heavy, aggressive schemes transform the Vikings D into a top unit. And he's back in the news again. Matt Daniels, special teams coordinator. Energetic coach, focus on return game and coverage discipline. And here's one of those quarterbacks we were talking about, Benny, J.J. McCarthy, 2024 first rounder, poised passer with mobility and leadership traits. So there you go. Those are your Minnesota Vikings 2025 brain trust. What do you got for those guys?
I wouldn't be real quick like I hear some folks on TV kind of anointing J.J. McCarthy. Although he does have a lot of weapons, and he does have one main weapon named Justin Jefferson that just cannot seem to be covered by anybody. And the Vikings also have a pretty solid defense, too. They're going to be highly ranked. I got to see this guy under fire, man. I got to see him under some real game fire because the last time we saw him he got hurt in the preseason, I believe, last year.
Yeah, he didn't.
Yeah. So we haven't seen him play in a real NFL game yet. To me, he's still a rookie. This is late rookie year, So we'll have to see. I'm not saying I don't think he can do it. They got a lot of faith in him, that's for sure. But the head coach O'Donnell, he's one in a short line of quarterback whisperers that really has earned that title. And you know I love Buffalo. So that, like I said, the defense is going to be tough. I think the Vikings are going to do really well. The NFC North is going to be a treacherous, treacherous division. Minnesota, Green Bay, the Lions, poor Bears. I almost feel sorry for the Bears. That's crazy.
Almost, eh?
Yeah, almost. Yeah. Well, it's their own. It's their own fault as usual.
Yes, the Bears, the Bears. Next up, Benny, we have, oh, you were talking about this division, the Green Bay Packers with Ryan Gutekunst.
That's
Gutekunst.
pretty good.
General manager, 7+7.7 on average net points. Benny, they had a pretty decent year last year. And a draft-centric builder transitioned from Rodgers to Love with a youth movement. Yeah, Rodgers didn't like some of them young receivers, man. He dropped a couple of his passes. He was about to go ballistic. Matt LaFleur, head coach, a Shanahan disciple, emphasizes play action motion and quarterback friendly designs. When you get a chance, just kind of help me understand what a quarterback friendly design might entail when you do your thing afterwards. Offensive coordinator Adam Stenovich, OC, promoted from offensive line coach, focuses on run game integration and protection. Jeff Hafley, defensive coordinator, former Boston College head coach, brings aggressive coverage and defensive back development. Rich Bisaccia, special teams coordinator, respected leader known for emotional intelligence and special teams turnaround. And of course, we have quarterback Jordan Love, emerging starter with arm talent and poise, led Green Bay to the playoff win in 2023. So there you go, your Green Bay Packers.
Okay, so Jordan Love having that playoff win under his belt early on has really lifted him up, but he's still got a lot to prove. And injuries shorten the season. I need to see him make it through all of or most of a full regular season and truly take his team back into the playoffs and maybe get to the second round or farther before I can actually say Jordan Love is the guy that Green Bay expects him to be. Not saying I don't think he will be. I'm rooting for him and I think he will be, but he hasn't truly proven it yet. So we got to wait and see. And now he's got a thumb or something, but it's on his non-throwing hand, so that shouldn't be a big deal. The offensive coordinator is really the offensive line coach, and he's the run game specialist. LaFleur wouldn't let anybody call plays for him. That's his job, and he's doggone good at it. And when they say quarterback friendly, I think they're talking about the way his verbiage in the playbook, the way he calls plays. I think he keeps things pretty simplified. There's some teams that use a lot of verbiage and a lot of. Remember, John Gruden's play calling used to be insane. So I think that's what they mean by that. I could be wrong, but I believe that's what they mean.
Look it up.
Not to mention,
So we'll look it up and add that to
yeah.
it. Go ahead.
Not to mention they run a lot of play action. They run a lot of motion. They run a lot of, trickery. Which all that stuff helps quarterbacks. The more you can keep the defense on their heels, the better it is for the quarterback. You don't ever want to put your quarterback in a position where teams can pin their ears back and just come. So balanced attack, good run game, throw the ball when you want to, not when you need to. Those kind of things. That's quarterback friendly.
All right. Ben, did you know that Jordan Love was kind of a smaller guy growing up?
Growing up? No.
But between his freshman year of high school and his first year of college, what's that, 4 years? He grew 9 inches, gained 80 pounds.
Wow. That's a hell of a growth spurt there.
I'm telling you, somebody was getting well fed in that little time period right there, man. I'm telling you. All right, what do we got? Okay, Benny. Next up, we have the Baltimore Ravens. Eric DeCosta, general manager, average net points plus 9.7. Getting up there now, Benny. Starting to talk about the stronger teams. You can see the difference in the average net points between the weaker teams and the stronger teams. Longtime Ravens exec known for draft consistency and defensive depth. John Harbaugh, head coach, special teams background, emphasizes toughness and adaptability. There you go. Offensive coordinator Todd Monken, air raid routes with NFL flexibility, unlocked Lamar's passing game. Did he really? Zachary Orr, defensive coordinator, former Ravens linebacker, rising star with aggressive blitz packages. And special teams coordinator Chris Horton, former DB, emphasizes coverage units and return game fundamentals. And drum roll, please, Lamar Jackson, quarterback, electrifying dual threat MVP, unmatched open field ability, and improved passing, much less. Yes, he did improve his passing. I do believe that's true. So there you have your Ravens, Benny. We're getting there.
So we just got finished talking about Greg Roman. Greg Roman is now with the Chargers, but Greg Roman spent some years with the Ravens and with Lamar as their offensive coordinator. And it seemed like a perfect marriage because he's a big time run game guy. But because they never got over the hump, decided we're going to bring in somebody who's a little bit more on the passing game side. And that's when they brought in Monken. So he has done his job, which I believe he's still in the process of doing, which is, as they call it, unlocking Lamar's passing game. His passing stats have gotten better and better and better year after year after year. Let's not forget, they were one play away from going to the Super Bowl. One drop pass away. Catch that pass, they go to the Super Bowl. So, you know, this will be a very interesting season to see. I think Baltimore's defense is going to be strong as they normally are, maybe even a little stronger than they were last year. They made some moves. And if Lamar keeps on his trajectory and Derrick Henry can crank out another 1,000 at least, maybe 1,200, they should be good to go. The only thing that worries me is the thing that's worried me up the whole time. Zay Flowers is the only receiver on that team that really projects to me as a top flight receiver. And he's just getting there. But I think he's to the point now where he's earned that. He's a number one. But after that, I don't know what it is. They've been so run game centric. They kind of let the receiving core fall off, and they haven't really paid a lot of attention to it. It's kind of crazy. So we'll see what happens.
Well, one of the things that came up about Lamar and as far as being an improved passer is apparently he has recorded 4 perfect passer ratings in his career, which is tied for the most in NFL history. Oh, yeah, that 158.3, baby. Let's get it. Let's get it. All right, so there's your Baltimore Ravens. All right, Benny. Next up, we have the Detroit Lions at plus 12.4. Brad Holmes, general manager, former Rams exec, built Lions through smart drafting and culture first signings. That's Brad Holmes, general manager. Dan Campbell, head coach, gritty, passionate leader, emphasizes physicality and locker room unity. Offensive coordinator John Morton, extensive coaching experience, including roles with the Raiders, Saints, Jets, and my beloved 49ers. And a stint as OC at USC, known for his work with wide receivers and passing game design. They're going to need that this year. Kelvin Shepherd, defensive coordinator. There's his fifth season with the Lions, first season as defensive coordinator. Previously served as linebacker coach for 3 seasons. Came to Detroit as an outside linebacker coach in 2021. Dave Fitt, special teams coordinator. Experience with a reputation for aggressive return strategies. And Jared Goff, resurgent veterans, excels in play action and structured systems. Excels in play action. It might have been Goff, Ben. I was telling you the story about the quarterback that faked that handed the ball off and then turned around and like he was completing the pass and faked the guy out so much that the defensive line just like sacked him. And it could have been Goff. I don't know why all of a sudden that added up to me, but I could see that between with Goff because
he's a pretty good ball handler.
He's a good ball handler. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. So what you got here?
So I like Jared Goff. I don't think people give Jared Goff enough credit for as good a game manager as he is. And I know there's people I talk to about football quite a bit, but we've had this game manager discussion. And when people started using that term, it seemed for some reason to be a negative term. But when in fact you really get into it and understand what it is that a good game manager needs to do, it's actually a positive trait to be considered a good game manager. And that's what Jared Goff is to me. Kelvin Shepherd, I know that name. It didn't say anything. Did you say anything about him being a player? I know he was a
Signed with the
linebacker.
Giants.
He played with the Giants?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. I knew that name.
Mm-hmm.
And then
2017.
Great. So he's a young guy. So also he's been a position coach, which helps a lot. And now he's defensive coordinator. So
hey Benny.
Yes.
Listen to this. Shepard recorded his first and second career interceptions on December 31st, 2017, during Week 17, when he picked off Washington Redskins quarterback Kirk Cousins twice. No, I like this guy.
Yeah, well, Washington Redskins Kirk Cousins was probably the best player on that team.
Probably was. You like this? You like that? You like that?
He threw them 2 picks and then he got 84 million guaranteed.
That's
right after.
Hero. That's why he's my hero. Right there. There you go.
John Morton, the OC. Oh, I knew what I was getting ready to say. So we were talking about Kelvin Shepherd. He's been a position coach under Aaron Glenn. So his apprenticeship has been served well. I expect the Lions defense, especially now that most of the starters, if not all the starters, are back from injury, to be really, really good this year. Really good. I'm not going to say they're going to be a top defensive unit, but they're going to be knocking on the door of the top defensive units. And a lot of that's going to have to do not only with the health of the players, but how well Mr. Shepherd takes over for Aaron Glenn. Same thing goes on the offensive side. Now that Ben Johnson's gone over to Chicago to be their head coach, John Morton is taking over. I don't believe that their offense is going to miss a beat. They still got Jahmyr Gibbs. They still got David Montgomery. That's one of the more serious 1-2 punches at running back. Possibly the best 1-2 punch off the top of my head, unless I think really hard right now that I could name as far as running backs concerned. Their receiver core would probably not ever be mentioned with the top ones, like the Bengals, like the Eagles, probably not even like the Vikings. But Amon-Ra St. Brown is tough. And Jameson Williams is fast. And that is a good combination. St. Brown works the underneath, works the sidelines, and Williams will just fly by people. So I'm expecting a big year out of Laporta, who also was injured last year, the tight end. Yeah, I like the Lions. Again, NFC North, tough division.
St. Brown, third down.
Yep,
It,
yep.
some of the things that I found out, first of all, tribute to Jared Goff, who grew up as a 49er fan and awarded number 16 as a tribute to Joe Montana. Special teams coordinator Fip was a ranked pole vaulter and at one point held the state of California La Jolla record at 15.5.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's crazy. We were talking about international football. John Morton, Toronto Argonauts, and the Frankfurt Galaxy. So these guys have actual.
Well, he played in the World League.
Yeah, okay, okay. Now this I found strange. As I read through Dan Campbell's experience, every time I turn around, he was getting injured. He was often, he don't look like the kind of guy that's got an injury bug, but he stayed injured. So when
Probably because he was a kamikaze.
could have been, could have
But he
been.
was a tight end.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, he was a blocking tight end. He ain't catch all passes. That's probably why he stayed banged up all the time.
Yes, yes. So that takes care of the Lions. Let's move on to the Buffalo Bills, with average net point plus of 14.6, with Brandon Beane, general manager. Built the Josh Allen era with aggressive trades and smart cap management, emphasizes continuity and culture. Sean McDermott, head coach, defensive-minded leader with a disciplined, detail-oriented approach, has led Buffalo to consistent playoff appearances. OC, offensive coordinator Joe Brady, offensive coordinator Joe Brady, former LSU and Panthers play caller, known for vertical passing and quarterback development. Bobby Babbage, defensive coordinator, promoted internally, emphasizes the zone coverage and linebacker versatility. Chris Tabor, special teams coordinator, veteran coordinator with reputation for reliable coverage units and kicker consistency. Yeah, up there in them windy areas, you better be consistent. And of course, quarterback Josh Allen, dual threat MVP with elite arm talent and physicality. He is the centerpiece of the Buffalo Bills offense. There's no doubt about that there. So, what do you got there, Benny?
Well, gotta love Josh Allen. Gotta love Josh Allen. You want to talk about dual threat quarterbacks, you have to put him up on that list. Right there under Lamar, if you ask me. Sean McDermott and Joe Brady. Joe Brady's a good OC. Joe Brady's been around. The DC, I don't really know. And I don't remember Buffalo having an outstanding defense in the past couple of years. They're always like good, but a lot of times they're in good position to be good because they're playing with leads. That can disguise some of your defensive flaws sometimes when you're able to, blitz when you want to and rush heavy when you want to and change your schemes up because you're playing with the lead. So I don't want to give their defense too many props just yet. But Joe Brady's a good offensive coordinator. I think he calls the plays from the booth. I don't think Sean McDermott is really a play caller. Once he lost Dayball to the Giants, he had to get somebody good. Joe Brady is a good offensive coordinator. Like they said, he's kind of a passing game type coordinator, which, again, just like when we talk about Lamar and the Ravens, this team has never done Josh Allen justice with wide receivers. I mean, they got him Stephon Diggs,
That's
and that
probably the
almost
best
that
receiver they
almost
ever got him, right?
yeah, that almost took him there. But they never had like that second guy. You know, right now they're working with Khalil Shakir, and they don't even have Gabe Davis. Remember the playoff game? The guy Gabe Davis scored like 4 touchdowns. He's gone.
And who is that? That's not the guy that didn't wear shoes. Who's the guy that didn't wear shoes?
No, that's the guy who used to play for the Eagles. The weird dude with all the hair.
Yeah, well, he was gone too.
Yeah. So again, you got this great passing game coordinator, and you got this guy with a howitzer for an arm, and you got receivers that nobody knows anything about. I don't get it.
Well, speaking of don't get it, Benny, did you know that Josh Allen did not get any scholarship offers from a
Yes.
D1 school? You knew that?
Yes.
I'm
That's why he
like,
went to Wyoming.
I'm like, really? He was the leading scorer on his basketball team and pitched on the baseball team. He was throwing 90-mile-per-hour fastballs, Benny.
Hmm.
90-mile-per-hour fastballs. And did you know that he has a cereal? Josh's Jacks.
My God.
Yeah. Because for a while there, that was a thing in Buffalo. Everybody had a cereal. I think the coach had a cereal at one time. The venerable coach that took him to like 4 Super Bowls or something like that. Do you remember when the Bills had that record where they had 13 offensive players receiving touchdowns, and they called it everybody eats. It was like a record. Everybody was scoring. Like it was
Mm.
the most spread out scoring thing out there, and it wound up being a record in terms of that. And McDermott, you talk about local, grew up in Philly, man. Went to North Penn and then went over to South College High School, all Southeastern defensive back. Um, was teammates with Mike Tomlin. So interesting. We have to keep an eye on Sean, man. He's had a few health issues. He's had some skin cancer scares.
Yeah, I thought I heard that.
Yeah, you got to be careful with that, man, because it's one of those things that pops back up.
Mm.
So I don't know. He's in Buffalo. I guess you would think he's in the right place. He's not in Miami.
Yeah, right.
You got to keep yourself covered up there. But yeah, good stuff, man. That was interesting. So Josh Allen and the things that they said about Josh Allen when they physically that his the speed of his throwing arm and all of that kind of stuff, absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. So that was a guy who they had to develop a little bit. And they knew they were gonna have to develop. That's probably what they thinking Anthony Richards can be that guy that they can develop real quick.
Again, we talk about immeasurables, and you see these guys, they got the height, they got the width, they got the physicality, they got the arm, they're accurate. His thing was accuracy. That was probably his main flaw. But he had everything else. And, these guys come into the NFL, the coordinators think, we can fix him.
Right.
Well, he's a success story.
And some of them, yes, in his case, he is a success story. All right, next up, Benny, we have the Philadelphia Eagles. Howie Roseman, general manager, average net point plus of 15.3. Master of roster reconstruction, known for trench dominance, draft maneuvering, and cap wizardry. That's Howie. Nick Sirianni, head coach, energetic leader with collaborative style, emphasizes player relationships and adaptability. I have to agree with the adaptability part for sure. Offensive coordinator Kevin Patullo enters his fifth year with the Eagles, promoted to OC during the 2025 season, previously served as the Eagles passing game coordinator, held the added title of associate head coach for 2 years. Vic Fangio, defensive guru known for disguise coverages and light box fronts, revived the Eagles D in 2024. Michael Clay, special teams coordinator, young but respected, emphasizes discipline and field position control, and the most misunderstood quarterback in the NFL, the guy that no one can rank because they just don't know how to rank this guy. One, Jalen Hurts, dual threat, MVP candidate with elite rushing ability and improving pocket poise. That word, that's one of those words. Poise. Guy.
Improving pocket poise. So
Okay.
he's still improving, which
Okay.
is a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is a good
Absolutely.
thing.
You know. And
Yeah.
Benny, just to let you know, That would be the number one team. So that
That
took
was our number one team in our
our number
rankings.
one team, highest net points.
Well, they earned it.
They weren't the highest net points on pure net points, but when you add in the turnover differential,
That puts them there.
that put them there. So
That's good. That's the whole deal. Yeah, Jalen Hurts, man. People have been going back and forth. He's this, he's that, he's top five, he's this, he's that. You know, you always run into these arguments, and people always start to pit pure skill of the player as opposed to wins. Some people think wins are overblown when you're talking about a quarterback. Some people think wins is the biggest deal of all when it comes to a quarterback. But let's remember, football's the ultimate team sport. Keep trying to tell folks, you have to quantify, if that's the right word, exactly what it is that you're talking about when you start deciding who's the best quarterback, who's next, who's next, who's next. Are we talking about skills, all around skills? Or are we talking about he's on a winning team? You know, that makes a difference. But anyway, it's a great argument to have. People are still having fun with it. The media had fun with it. Guys sitting at the bar had fun with it. It's a beautiful thing. Defensive coordinator Vic Fangio. He's been around for a long time. He had some success. He's had some years at some places where he looked horrible. But right now, if he ever even dreams about leaving this team, he's going to kill himself. This is crazy. He can't do that. That would be crazy. He's having one of the greatest seasons he's ever had, as far as the defensive coordinator is concerned. He's got the kind of talent that fills all the boxes for what it is that he's trying to do on his defense. He's had a lot of success and probably will continue to have that kind of success if, in fact, Howie stays on this hot streak that he is on. People talk about, you know, they want to make Howie a saint. They want to put him in sainthood. I remember wasn't that long ago when people was talking about fire Howie. And I'm talking about diehard Eagles fans. We got to get rid of Howie. He got to go. He got to go. You know, that's why I try to remind folks. He had his downtime. Now he's having his uptime. It happens to everybody, and it happens to every team. If you're on top, enjoy it while you're there, because guess what? Somebody's coming for you. Somebody's coming for you. But yeah, Howie's looking great. Howie's greatest attribute is handling the salary cap. Howie probably handles the salary cap way better than everybody else. And I'm surprised, and we talked about the NFL being a copycat league as far as playing on the field. Somebody needs to figure out what's going on in Howie Roseman's head with the salary cap, because he moves that money the right way, it seems like, every single time. Team gets strong, he keeps the team strong. When it's time for somebody to go, he knows when to let them go, and he knows exactly who to bring in. He's doing a masterful job right now. Nick Sirianni, I can't say nothing bad about Nick Sirianni. I tried to. I want to, because it gets on my nerves sometimes, okay? But he's a master motivator, and he understands these players, even the young guys. Like, he knows how to talk to them. He knows how to, come on, y'all, come on. They believe in this guy. You know, he's getting better at his in-game management too. I think he's decided, you know what? I don't have to study the offense so much. I don't have to be so, I'm not calling plays anymore. So now I need to be on top of this game management thing. And he's done a lot better than he was doing before. When he took too much onto his plate, he hasn't had to do that now. And as far as the offense is concerned, I'm going to say the same thing that I said about the guys that took over in Detroit. If they just follow the lead of the OC that was there before them, they should be just fine. Patullo should be fine. Don't get crazy. Don't try to bring no new stuff. You tweak here, you tweak there, let it roll.
all right, there you go. Just tweak it a bit. Try to keep the level that you got. couple things I'll mention real quick, Benny, and some of the extra stuff that now we know everybody talks about Jalen Hurts power, what was it, powerlifting 600 pounds or squatting 600 pounds.
Right.
But apparently he was a power lifter in high school.
Okay.
He was squatting 500 in high school at 100 and 198-pound weight class. So
He's always had a lot of lower body strength.
I'm
That's wonderful.
telling you, it's been hey, look. And of course, when he gets compared to one of my favorite players of all time, from my beloved Niners, Saint Joe Montana, one of only four starting quarterbacks to ever win a Super Bowl and an NCAA national championship. We're talking about Ken the Snake Stabler, Joe Namath, and Joe Montana. So that's a hell of a group to be associated with, you know?
Stabler and Namath both with Alabama. Hurts with Alabama. That's three.
There you go.
And Montana with.
Was it Notre Dame?
Yes. Good job. Good job.
Ew, thank you.
Because
So
if you know anybody's college team, it better be him.
it better be him, I know. And I had to go, I was spinning the wheels for a hot second there. So anyway, Benny, that wraps up the 2025 NFL Brain Trust Report. So before we move on and just take a quick look at our social media page and close this bad boy out, any final words, any additional comments on that?
No, the brain trust thing was interesting. Learned a few things, got some stuff out there that maybe some people knew or didn't know about some of these guys. The success that I expect from certain teams because of who the brain trust is, what they've been through, where they came from, and all that. That was kind of fun. So no, I'm good with it.
The one thing I meant to say about Hertz is we have it actually on our page.
I like the way he goes about it. He calls me a lot. I'm just, it asks me lots of questions. They actually run a lot of plays that we used to run, Sirianni to Frank Wright to Tom Moore, sort of that chain. And he calls me with very specific questions about certain plays. So he's a student of the game. You know, as another example, you think, I mean, he squats 600 pounds. He can, run over guys. He can throw it a mile. But his appreciation of the cerebral part of the game is what's impressive to me, how he's taken his game to the next level. And I think the sky's the limit for this guy.
Have you ever met a more intense, serious human being than Jalen?
No.
It's almost intimidating when you're in the room
We
with
haven't
him.
had a face-to-face with him in a while. We do a lot of texting and a lot of voice memos, but I imagine he's reading those with a very straight, serious face. Like, I don't crack any jokes with him. I don't test my material out of your cricket.
So I'm not surprised to hear any of that. In fact, he actually got himself into a little bit of trouble. I forget if it was last season or season before, when it kind of leaked out that he had made a personal call to the defensive coordinator of another team to ask that coach if he saw something that Jalen was or wasn't doing that helped game plan against him.
Okay.
And that I thought that was, I mean, it's a shame it got out because they kind of tried to say he shouldn't be doing that. But this guy, he's like, if he wants to know something, he's going to figure it out. He's one of them kind of guys. If I don't know, I'm researching and get back to you. He's not just going to let stuff slide. You know what I mean?
Right.
He when people say, I'm just scratching the surface, I got way more to learn. I'm trying to be the best I can be. He really means it.
All right. Well, now you see why we include the quarterback in the brain trust. Because if you have that type of quarterback, that brain trust, it's a strong piece. That's a strong piece.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Benny, thank you very much. I'm glad we had an opportunity to do that. I'm going to be working on some other stuff. I want to remind everybody to please press the subscribe button, ring the notification bell, and we're gonna let's see here, Benny. You wanna leave out with some aura farming? Ah.
I tell you what, this I don't get too much off of this, but go ahead.
I know. I'm just actually messing with you, but it is on there, and it's only the main thing with me is football players picked it up. It's when it gets to the football players and they're recreating the stuff on the field. I just think that is absolutely amazing. So, Ben and Barry on football, www.benandbarryonfootball.com. We are here on a weekly basis, especially through the regular season. So, looking forward to it. And let's get ready to kid off of here, Benny, because we got some football coming up in a little bit.
Yes, sir.
All right. Ben and Barry out.